What is going on, guys? Welcome back to my channel and the final Quentin Tarantino review until Once Upon a Time in Hollywood is finally here. This time I will be reviewing his 8th film, The Hateful Eight. This movie stars Samuel L. Jackson, Kurt Russell, and this is a film that centers around a group of strangers who, because of a blizzard, are trapped and isolated inside of this small little inn. They start to unravel and discover the secrets behind each of the visitors' stay. This is a movie that, for me, I'm a little kind of 50-50 on. On one hand, there are elements in this movie that I truly love. And then on the other hand, there are elements of this movie to me that I feel like are bottom of the barrel Tarantino. Now, any Tarantino film, after watching all 8 of his first films leading up to Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, I will say this: they are quality films. These are films that are very serviceable. You can find enjoyment out of all of them. So there is no one film out of the Tarantino saga that is a bad film or just a movie in general that I wouldn't want to watch again. The reason why I'm kind of split 50-50 is because the elements that I love about this movie outweigh the elements that I don't like, but at the same time, I can understand why certain elements that I don't like could outweigh the elements that I do like. Let me tell you the good about this movie. Number one, the performance by Jennifer Jason Leigh is incredible. I think she did such a phenomenal job putting herself back on the map. I remember watching her as Stacey Hamilton in Fast Times at Ridgemont High. And so it's really weird for me to see her in this movie. And I also saw her in Annihilation where she was great. But this is a completely different character that she's played. The way she plays it is very interesting because this character has a lot of depth to her because of the fact that she is kind of this prisoner of Kurt Russell's character. You would think that she'd kind of be more in the background, but she's really kind of in the forefront. They do a lot of things with her character that make her very dynamic, and you can kind of see the layers that are kind of broken down in this character. And I felt like her performance was phenomenal and so deserving of her Best Supporting Actress nomination at the Academy Awards. I thought she was phenomenal. I also thought that the final act of this movie was fantastic. And this movie kept me guessing because it had me on the edge of my seat trying to unravel this mystery. Unravel like who is working with Jennifer Jason Leigh's character. You kind of don't see it coming. I did not see the twist coming in this movie. And so to me, I thought that was really nice that Tarantino was able to kind of do something different that we haven't really seen, because a lot of his other films, they kind of just go balls to the wall and they do it for the effect of like satire or that of kind of hilarity. This movie doesn't do that. It really peels back that layer and it kind of gives us more of a tension-filled film trying to understand like, okay, which characters do I root for and which characters do I not root for? Because all of these characters, they're very harsh characters. There's not one character that you truly love or that you want to root for because they've all done bad things to get where they are. I found that very fascinating in this film because this is a different type of movie. This movie reminded me a lot of Reservoir Dogs. Even though this is a Western film and Reservoir Dogs is set in the modern era, there's a lot of nostalgic, kind of iconic moments that I found in Reservoir Dogs to kind of be in this movie, where certain people aren't who they seem and you're trying to kind of figure out this mystery. As opposed to Reservoir Dogs, however, you get to kind of unravel the mystery and kind of start to understand how things make sense in a way, as opposed to Reservoir Dogs where it's kind of like, we're going to show you who is not truly who they seem to be. And so you get really good character layers and character depth and background that for a lot of other Tarantino films, it just kind of felt like some of the characters were kind of more hidden, as opposed to this movie where it just kind of seems like more characters seem to actually have a purpose or kind of a personality to them that make them specific to the overall story. And I found that to be really interesting with this film. The negatives of this movie for me, it's got to be that first hour. The first hour is supposed to set up a lot of this movie, and I get that. There's a lot of tension set up, but I felt like it wasn't executed the way that it could have been. It felt very slow to me. It was a very slow burn. Now, Tarantino, pretty much all of his movies, you could say, are very slow. But this movie doesn't have those emotional notes or those comedic notes that kind of keep me hanging on in that first hour. This movie felt a lot like Jackie Brown, and the negatives that I had with Jackie Brown where it was almost dull. It was almost lulling me to sleep. And I don't like that in my Tarantino films. Because other films like Inglourious Bastards or even Django, those slow moments, they still have that comedic timing or those emotional notes that keep you grounded and keep you firmly placed within this story and wanting more and continuing watching. This movie just didn't feel like that. It felt very slow that first hour until the violence comes in, where people are just starting to shoot people left and right and people are dying and being picked off. That's where the movie got really good, and it kind of started to snowball and get faster and faster and faster for me. But that first hour was really slow. The opening shot as well for a Tarantino film felt very different from any Tarantino film. It felt more like a Kubrick film, a lingering shot on one subject as it kind of moves up a mountain in the snow. It just, to me, did not feel like a Tarantino type of shot, and it almost took me out of the film immediately. It really made me feel like this was a different type of movie, and that's what you get out of this movie. It is a Western. It feels a lot like set in the Django era. It just felt a little flat in some of the execution that this movie could have had. It had good setup moments with certain characters in the film, especially Jennifer Jason Leigh's character, Kurt Russell's character, but it just, again, felt a little flat and felt a little dull to the point where I almost took myself completely out of the film and didn't really invest the time in the characters. So if you take that first hour to kind of try to understand the setup and understand that he's trying to go for this character development in a different type of Tarantino way and trying different things, I guess you can kind of have a better love, a better connection with that first hour. But to me, it just felt a little dull. Other than that, guys, this is a solid Tarantino film. Not one of my favorites. I definitely need to go back and watch it again because there are some things that I have questions about. And there are some things that I definitely want to see in that first hour and see how they kind of translate better with a second watch. Anyway, guys, what do you think of The Hateful Eight? Let me know your thoughts down below in the comment section. Make sure you guys like this video. Subscribe to my channel for more content just like this. Tomorrow, the big day. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. I cannot wait. That review will be up tomorrow night. Also, let me know in the comment section, are you going to be checking out Once Upon a Time in Hollywood? Also, a Tarantino ranking will be coming very soon as well, probably within the weekend. I will see you in my next video. Goodbye.